All right, and we're live. Welcome, everyone, or in better terms, hey, friends, what's up? Phillip here with Points of Phillip. And we're actually going to be talking about, so we have the prepared topic of my favorite dining cards and, which one might be best for certain people. But I really just do want to make this kind of like an open office hours kind of space. And so for those of my friends that are have, kind of interesting questions, or not, doesn't even have to be interesting questions, just any question at all about credit cards or points and miles or redeeming for points and miles or just whatever it is, I want you to feel comfortable that just asking the question here. And so these office hours are going to be kind of for anyone who wants to kind of discuss credit cards or had any questions or anything. We are here for you. And of course, I guess that's the royal we, because I'm the only one on this live stream right now. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. But right now, I am going to, while kind of everyone kind of filters in, I'm going to go ahead and talk about kind of what I use for dining and, kind of what I could use. So I have a lot of different options. And so first of all, I'm going to kind of got all of my cards together. There's the American Express Gold card. So this card gets 4 points per dollar on dining, and then it also gets 4 points per dollar on groceries as well. And then in addition to 3 points per dollar on airfare purchased directly or through the portal, and then 2 points per dollar on hotels purchased directly. Actually, no, through the portal. Sorry, not directly. But yeah, so the gold card gets you really great. Now, it does have an annual fee of $325, which, can be quite a lot. And so kind of the answer to that, and thus the thumbnail, is the the Capital One Savor Card. So the Savor Card comes with no annual fee unless you're getting the Capital One Savor One card, which I actually don't really recommend, and I do have a video coming out next week where I get into more about that. But this one gets 3 points per dollar. Actually, I'm sorry, 3% cash back on dining and groceries, as well as entertainment purchases, which is really great. So if you're someone who likes to go on concerts and things, but you also like to go out to eat, the Savor Card really could be your go-to. And the fact that it's no annual fee might be better for the most amount of people compared to the Gold Card. But, those credits could mean something. So I just want to go ahead and go into the comment section. Vincent, thank you so much. Happy Saturday to you. My wife and I have been watching the football game that's going on right now in Ireland, of all places, which is interesting. I love seeing Aer Lingus as a sponsor of a football game. That just was really wild to me. So that's what my wife and I spent our day doing. But I actually just recently had a fun conversation with Anthony. His live was wild last night. I don't know if everyone caught that, but yeah, there was a lot going on, and he did a great job talking about his upcoming travel plans and everything that he was kind of interested in kind of pursuing. It was a great time. But yeah, happy Saturday to you, Vincent. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you. All right, so now some of the other traditional dining cards I kind of want to get into. So Joe Barretto is a really big fan of this particular one. He's actually the reason why I have this. So the Citi Strata Premier card could also be a good dining card. Now, this one is a little bit more expensive, so it's $95 a year for the Citi Strata Premier compared to the Savor card, right? But with that, you get 3 points per dollar on dining, groceries, gas, and as well as travel and things like that. And so that's really a solid card. Now, you can compare it to the Savor card in that, right? So this one gets 3% back, but in order to be able to transfer it out, you need to at least have a venture card. So you can have the no annual fee Venture One card, or you can get the $95 annual fee Venture card, and that will allow you to essentially kind of expand out into miles. And so if you're thinking about converting your points from the Savor, or if you're comparing the Savor and the Citi Strata Premier, the annual fees can be kind of a wash if you're taking a look at getting the Venture card to round up your Savor. So it depends on what your wallet looks like. Then that's definitely an option. Eduardo is here, and Eduardo Vargas says the B of A CCR 5.25. So I think that's the customized cash rewards, right? So I have a personal, actually interesting story with Bank of America. So growing up, I grew up in an interesting household with money. And so my mom actually had me as that we were both on a joint account, and that account went away, and for not good reasons. And Bank of America wouldn't give me even a checking account with them for years and years and years. And they finally did, actually this summer. I got my first Bank of America checking account since I was in high school. And so hopefully that'll help me actually get one of those cards. But I was looking at that program earlier this week, and Bank of America, it doesn't seem like their tiers are too terribly difficult to get. Now, I can't move over any of my money because, well, so my work actually puts in a significant amount of money into my 401k, and they require that it goes through Fidelity for their program. But if I ever did separate from my current job and then actually ended up having to kind of figure out where I actually wanted to house my investments, then Bank of America could be a significant option because 5.25 cashback is definitely nothing to shake a stick at. Because I think that card doesn't have an annual fee. Is that right? Let me know, Eduardo. I know you have it, or it looks like you have it. Chad's Money Minutes. Yo, thank you so much for being here, Chad. I know Saturday is kind of a busy day when it comes to lives, and now it'll be more so now that football is becoming a thing. So I may have to kind of figure out what time works best, because I know sometimes we have really great games that start at noon. Sometimes we have really great games that start at like 5 or 6. So I may have to go earlier in the day, but I don't want to I don't want to step on Dugroz's live too, because he's a great guy. But yeah, awesome. So Eduardo is saying I have 4x. That's really nice. How much money do you have to have in Bank of America funds or Merrill funds to qualify for that level? It would be my big question. All right, so you can move your 401k and move the money back out and still keep the tier. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought you just had to have it kind of like a rolling basis, and it like, just kind of like periodically check that the money was there. That's good to know. Okay. So Eduardo says no fee on that card. So Bank of America sounds like a really, really interesting kind of environment. So I'm really looking forward to that. So Jojo says, unless my girlfriend takes credit cards, ain't dining out much these days. Yeah. Honestly, we're dining out a lot less than we have been in the past because, well, first of all, we're making significant investments in our family's future, and so with those investments, we're cutting back a little bit. But we are also, both of us now are kind of on those shots, and so I'm actually been playing around with factor meals recently, and they're actually pretty good. And so like we actually haven't really been grocery shopping even that much either. So we've just been doing factor. Sadly, factor only counts as general shopping, so that I wasn't able to get 3x for that. But yeah, so Eduardo says 100,000. 100,000 honestly is not bad. Like when you think about like as long as you're thinking about like retirement plans, like I feel like there's a decent amount of people that will have at least $100,000 in retirement savings. And so when you kind of move that in now, for that, does it have to be can it be self-directed, or does it have to be investor directed for that? Like that's a good question. Like I wonder, because like I had so through my work with Fidelity, it defaults to kind of their managed system, right? And I was looking at the fees, and it was like they were charging fees quarterly. And I was like, what am I doing that I need to be paying? I think it was like 1.1 or something percent, or like something stupid for a quarter. And I was like, what, this is crazy. And so I actually like, I called them up, and I actually like had to start a brokerage link account, but now I'll direct it now for my main retirement 401k account. I pretty much just do like, the low cost kind of, the bonds, and or not the bonds, but the low cost funds that actually kind of track the S&P 500. So that's kind of what I do, and it's just like it's a lot less fees, which is kind of my big thing for asking that question. But gonna diver, sup Phillip. So I love that you had the Patty logo. I got to ask about it because first of all, my first college career was I attended classes at the University of Miami for 6 months, and I was going to be a marine biologist, and I basically reality hit, and I realized I couldn't pay $50,000 a year to be a scientist, but it was a really interesting experience. I loved diving. I actually was able to do I got my dive master certification there, and I actually crewed a dive boat down in Key Largo a couple times. So I'm sure we have some great diving stories. That would be kind of cool. At Eduardo, you can rinse and repeat every year. Money has to be in it for only 1 year. Oh, okay. So you can kind of move it out if you want to. That's nice. Okay. The money has to be in it for 1 month. And then Keith asked a really great question. Dining out in this economy. Yeah. Those city nights are going to be treat yourself nights. It could be probably a good way to think about it. Yeah. Okay. That's good that it can be self-directed because that's kind of a big deal for me. All right, Jojo, my girlfriend takes cash though, so she makes me pay for it. Okay. All right, Eduardo, Fidelity sucks. Fidelity closed my card because I paid from a different bank than the usual, and they wouldn't even open it after sending them a verification. Yeah. So are you? I guess you're talking about. Are you talking about the debit card? Or are you talking about the credit card? So because I know those two things are different, and that's the first thing that they always say on the Fidelity subreddit is like, oh, it's done by Elon Financial, which I have it, but it's weird. It's actually one of my lowest credit card limits on cards because they only gave me $2,000, and it's up to $2,000 of credit limit. Which honestly, when you're taking a look at your your day to day spend, right? If you're putting your monthly bills on there, you're going to hit that ceiling fairly significantly. So that can be kind of a big deal. Keith says, I moved from Factor to Cook Unity. The food and the recipes are much better than Factor. Okay, that's good to know. I'm in my second week now with Factor, and I haven't been bored yet, but that's also because I'm in my second week. I can imagine that getting a little old eventually. Usually 400 plus different meal options each week. Nice. That is really amazing. That's a lot more. So the Factor has that app, but it's really weird to like plan out and strategize what meals you want in that particular shipment. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, I'll have to try Cook Unity whenever my Factor sign up bonus runs out. So, they gave me, I think it was like 60% off for the first week, and then it's like 30% off for the next 5 weeks or something. So I'll probably ride that wave and then maybe try Cook Unity. Eduardo was talking about the credit card. Yeah, so I don't know. I've only tried paying it with my main quarterback account, but yeah, I don't know. They do seem to be really, really weird about kind of moving money around. So, I actually shut down my cash management account with Fidelity because they kept, like, I would try to send money there, and I was like, maybe if I can use this as a checking account, like I'd like to do that, keep everything under, kind of one roof per se. But it just like it took them, I think it was a month and a half to actually clear some of these funds, and it's something stupid. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with that. So Fidelity is like, they do have some sucky stuff, but their app's fine. If all you're doing is logging in every 2 weeks to manage which fund you buy into, then it's fine. But yeah, no, it sounds like a frustrating thing for you. DM says, just joined. Gold can be overrated with competitors like the Prestige for those of us that still have it, and the custom cash. Yeah, I think the Prestige, it was something crazy. It's like 5 points per dollar on dining, right? It wasn't 6, it was 5, I think, right? And so yeah, the Prestige is kind of the go when it comes to dining. Yeah, exactly. And it's just honestly a name like the credit card, the Citi Prestige, like that is the name, right? Like it makes you want to have it, right? So that's, yeah, I definitely agree. 4x per dollar is kind of industry leading now, but especially when you think about like the annual fees are kind of crazy. And then the custom cash. Yeah, the custom cash is pretty great. So I feel like most people, unless you are traveling for work or something like that, most people probably won't spend more than that on eating out. So more than the 500 per month. So I feel like the custom cash could probably be a good option for you. And so yeah, that's definitely a solid option, like 5x back, especially if you have the Citi Strata Premier or something. And so you can actually, that's 5 American Airlines points per dollar. Like that's kind of crazy. And that's a solid point. Thank you so much, DM. Attack of the Nerds. What a great name. What credit score should you have for the Savor card? So I keep getting pre-approved for the Savor with good credit, not the excellent credit with the sign-up bonus. So I'm so glad you brought that up. So the Savor card here is, so they just recently unlaunched the Savor 1 for fair credit, which just means, I literally just got my car repossessed. Can I get a credit card, right? Yeah, the Capital One pre-approval tool for anything other than the Venture X. I feel like I've seen a couple other people say this, that it defaults to saying you're pre-approved for the one for good credit, even if you can get the higher one. So I've tried that. I tried to get the Savor. I think it was, yeah, I think it was the Savor, and then I did the pre-approval. When I got the Savor, I did the pre-approval, and it said, Savor for good credit. So I just decided to just apply for it outright, and I did get it. But that is more of a risk because they're not pre-approving you for that product that has the nice sign-up bonus or the nice APR, intro. So it's kind of a risk. I feel like the credit score thing is. Yeah, I'm sure there's an answer. There's a monetary answer. What? But again, it's more about kind of credit background than necessarily having like a good credit score for Savor Card. All right, let's see. So Google says 670 or higher. I mean, honestly, I feel like for most cards nowadays, if you have a credit score of a FICO score of high 600s, low 700s, you can get most credit cards. Like I've been able to get, I opened up 18 so far this year, and I'm at I think it's, depending on which FICO score you're looking at, it's like 715 to 750. So, it's not necessarily like the score, but I feel like if you are in that position where you can get other credit cards or 670 or even higher, you should be able to do reasonably well. But that is kind of a risk, right? So you could get denied if you do that. But I feel like the $250 in the APR is worth getting that hard pool, because yeah, it is 3 hard pools, but it's one. Just don't dramatize it. Yeah, it's one for each one, but I feel like most of us aren't playing that game where you're like, oh, I have 3 Experian and only 2 on my TransUnion score, so if I freeze everything else, they'll only pull my TransUnion. I haven't really played that game. Maybe I should have. Maybe I'd be getting more approvals, but I already got 18 credit cards this year. I don't need anything more, right? But yeah, that's a great question. I would go for it if it were me, but if you're a little bit more risk averse, then you could just stick with the Savor one, because if you just ultimately want that card, then just get the card. Okay, Vincent, I just got approved for the Fidelity Visa card. That's great. That's awesome. I love this card. I've said this before. It is my favorite card that I don't use. And the reason why I don't use it is because, well, first of all, Amex has been very good to me so far for the last 2 years. But also, between the Citi stuff with American Airlines and the fact that I'm trying to increase my Capital One credit limits by putting more love to their cards as well, there's just not a lot of extra room in my budget for using my Fidelity card. But if I was Team Cashback, having no foreign transaction fees, having TSA PreCheck, having the 2% cash back, everything it's a solid card. It could definitely be your only card, and I love that, right? So yeah, that's awesome, Vincent. Great job. I do still have the gold for now, although it's on the chopping block. Yeah, my gold is on the chopping block every time it comes back up, right? Because it's expensive. It's a lot. $325. You got to do the math to figure out if it's worth it, right? The Resi credit, it's good. Life is good if Amex likes you, right? If they make your card, or if they make their card for for example, so for me, Uber, I can do Uber Eats pickup and Grubhub pickup. There's 7 places within a 2-block walk of my office downtown. So I can use that credit hands down any time of day or any time of the month. The Resi credit, there's tons by me. Almost all the Universal hotels, restaurants are on Resi, in addition to a couple other kind of Marriott restaurants are down there. There's a lot of places in Winter Park, which Winter Park has a lot of really great kind of upper scale dining restaurants. So we've used every Resi credit several months before I needed to. So Resi is very easy. Dunkin', the only thing that I hate about Dunkin' is the one location that's next to my house. They suck. It takes them I literally gave them 20 minutes to make my breakfast sandwich on my way into school this past week, and I was waiting for another 10 minutes, 30 minutes from the point of when I ordered the thing to when I got it, and I was like, I don't understand why this took so long, but I did use it, right? So that will definitely be part of the fight, but you definitely absolutely need to, anytime there's an annual fee, kind of reassess whether or not you think it's worth it to buy into that card every year. And I feel like buying into a card is like a good way to put it, because you are getting those credits, you're prepaying for them, but essentially you're buying into a club. Basically, is the way I look at it. You're buying into that club and you get the benefits of that club. And if you think that having the benefits of that club is worth it, then you keep the membership, right? And I think that's why American Express likes that whole membership idea. So that's a good idea. All right, I'm definitely getting behind the comments. Thank you. I appreciate you guys for being here. All right, Eduardo, it was my highest limit, 25,000. I ran through over 500,000 in 5 years, and they did me dirty. Wow. That does sound really frustrating. Let's see, where did they do you dirty? Fidelity sucks. Okay. Yeah, that's if for having it for 5 years, that's really strange that they would just completely close it for that sort of a payment thing. That is wild, Eduardo. That sounds like a terrible. Were you able to check up with the not the Better Business Bureau, but the FDIC, or what? Not the FDIC, whatever the government agency is that deals with that. That might be worth talking to them about that, because that does not sound right. Like that should have happened. DM says Strata Elite can be good if you're a weekend warrior and break even on the annual fee. Yeah. So the Strata Elite, I absolutely hate, because it's just like, it could be a better card, right? But I get it. Like, if you're someone who only goes out to eat on these city nights, it makes sense, right? At the 6 points per dollar, when it would ordinarily be 4 or 3 points per dollar, that absolutely makes sense. That I would take that deal any day. The fact that you get the Admirals Club membership lounge access points, right? All of those things, like, it's a great card. And I have to admit, I applied for it, right? Citi doesn't like me because, again, I opened up 18 credit cards this year. And so, that's the only reason why. That's what they said. That's what the rep said when I called to ask about it. And like, I get it. I wanted the card. And so, like, if I had that card, I would definitely be using that as my meal ticket right now. So I absolutely agree. Gunna Diver, paid certified since I was 12, blowing bubbles since, bog hunting, etc. Love it. And that's amazing, dude. I love diving. My wife isn't really that into it, so I'm kind of looking into, like, trying to figure out if there's people that I could, like, go on a trip or two, because I haven't done it in a while, and it's so much fun being down there. It's great. I'm glad you're able to do it. 521 Taipei, glad to see you back. Phillip, should I get the Amex Platinum before the price increases, even though I don't have the green or the gold yet? Okay, so do you want the YouTube answer, or do you want the politically correct answer? So the Platinum card, if you can get the sign up bonus, if you can get the high sign up bonus, it's nice. Now, the only problem I would say is the gold card has significant sign-up bonuses at times, right? So if you do it the right way, if you get that 100,000 point offer, or even a 75,000 point offer through Resi or something like that, it's good. The only thing I would worry about is, I feel like the personal gold doesn't have as many no lifetime language offers as the platinum card, or even some of the other American Express cards. So someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the gold card, skipping out on that sign up bonus, would be kind of a big deal for me. Now you can you can get the gold if you wanted to, and then get the platinum, and then be working on both of those sign up bonuses if you can stand that. And I mean, that's a high annual fee. But yeah, it's a personal decision, right? So I've definitely gotten to the point where I've gotten cards specifically without getting a sign-up bonus. Like my Aspire card, I got without a sign-up bonus because I wanted the benefits of that card. And so if that's where you are, 521 Taipei, I would say, yeah, launch on it. But, it depends on whether or not you think, like, if it goes to 895, would giving up the option of getting 100,000 points on that gold card be worth that price differential? Does that make sense, right? So if you think about in terms of that, if that trade-off makes sense to you, then yeah, I would say to go into it. But if you don't want the green card, I wouldn't worry about getting that sign-up bonus. It's only like 40,000 points anyway, which, yeah, it's kind of stupid to say it's only 40,000 points, because that's a lot. But like, it's definitely not worth it if you don't already have a plan for the green card. I love the green card when I had it. It is one of my dearest, like, fondest memories of credit cards, because of what it did for me, because I was able to use it for a lot of different things. But if you don't have a plan for the green card, skipping it's fine. I would just, I would definitely kind of think a little bit harder about skipping that gold sign up bonus, though, because I don't know if that option would come around quite as much. All right, Keith says factor codes is 3x online grocery with the Chase Sapphire preferred card. Oh, okay. Thanks, Keith. I'm going to actually have to make a note of that and transfer that over. Actually, most meal kits code us online grocery. Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate you, Keith. That you just saved me some points. Redstone. I got really super duper into credit cards shortly after they nerfed the Redstone credit union Visa, so I don't have direct exposure to that. But I did hear that was kind of the GOAT back when it was available. Let's go. Anthony Venture, thanks so much for being here. And Phil's 524 must be insane. Yes, I think I actually am like 2024 or something like that. It's stupid. So yeah, I'm definitely not getting a Chase card anytime soon. So pretty much just waiting for my wife to, be open to getting another card again. And then maybe we'll pick up a United card, or maybe the IHG. If the IHG card came out with another 5-night free award, or even the Boundless came out with another 5-night free award, I would probably launch on that sometime next year with her. And that way we would have those free night awards for when my wife and I go to Edinburgh next year. Locked in Otaku. Love your videos, Phil. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And thanks again for commenting, for being here. I just appreciate every single one of you guys. Boxer, I'm glad I got my Capital One build done early so I don't have to deal with the 3 pulls for each card. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like the unspoken secret about Capital One is they're a little funky about the upgrades, so the product changes that they do, but every once in a while they do offer some pretty decent ones. So if you're not happy with your current situation, you can product change, right? So you can move some things around. In fact, that's actually why one of the reasons why I'm keeping my Quicksilver card open is because that's my only Visa Capital One card. And so they won't give me the Venture X card, but if I do get my credit limits with Capital One high enough, I might be able to transfer those credit limits to the Quicksilver card and then maybe get a upgrade offer to the Venture X. So that's kind of my long game with Capital One. But yeah, I mean, if you're someone who is trying to play the game kind of on a minute level, having that 3 pulls per card, I can see that being a big deal, but it's not something that I've, oh yeah, Memphis Mike, thank you. Let me go ahead and actually pull it out of my wallet. So yeah, so this is the new Platinum card. It just came in the mail yesterday. So it's one of the things that's really interesting to me is this edge. It's darker and it doesn't feel like it's painted. It feels like it's actually part of this overall metal. And then you can see kind of, let's see if I can get there we go. So you can see a little bit where this is like raised texture here. And then there's also like the World Service is raised, and it's different from my other one. Let's see if I still have that one. Okay, yeah, so I have the business one here. And like, so this one's much more kind of reflective. There's not really a lot of, a lot of different textures going on. But then this right here, you can see it's definitely like lighter, and it's a little softer of a metal. Like there's a bunch of scratches on here, and I've actually kind of babied this one. But yeah, thanks so much for reminding me, Memphis Mike. Anthony Venture, cancel the gold. Okay, honestly, the gold card it got me to Europe the first time. So I do love my gold card, but I might have to. We'll see. We'll see how much I put on it in the future. Filmo's here. Thank you so much for being here, Filmo. As long as Amex sends out no lifetime language on the gold every year, I will continue to get and use it. Okay, so Filmo's saying that they are getting lifetime languages on the gold. So okay, well if that's the case, then let's see, Taipei. I would say go ahead and get that then. Like if the no lifetime languages offers on the gold are showing up, then yeah, maybe just go for the platinum and then wait for that sort of thing. Memphis Mike, the gold card has my MR balance overflowing. It was hard to upgrade to the platinum, but I'm sure Amex will offer me another one. Yeah, I will say that. So for those people, and it feels like almost every creator talks about the fact that the gold card, or well, American Express at large, is very easy to earn points with. And I feel like there's 2 reasons why that's true. The first one is because they're stupid free with the sign-up bonuses. Even if you're in pop-up jail, they'll give you something. They have a plan for you. They haven't told you what it is yet, but you may be in pop-up jail for the platinum card, but they'll give you the Aspire card or something like that. So they have a plan for you. They'll give you those sign-up bonuses. For me, they really want me to have business cards over personal cards. And so I've had almost 400,000 MR points just on business cards sign-up bonuses so far. So it's been a crazy ride. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. The gold card, but the spending on the gold card is the other reason, and that's 4x per dollar. Like if you're spending on groceries and dining out, like there were a couple months where we were spending, I think, up to $1,000 in between groceries and go eating out. And so like that's 4,000 points a month. Like that's crazy high for like if you're trying to save up those points for, European vacation with a family or something like that. It's hard to deny. American Express points, they're just, you can get them and you can make them work for you. All right, Eduardo, Robinhood Gold is better than Fidelity. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, actually. Let's take a look at that because it's on my list of things to mention here. So I can actually show you both sides of this one. This is just the regular non-gold one. But Robinhood, what are they smoking, honestly? So Robinhood here is they want me to use my points to buy a gold credit card. Like, first of all, no, absolutely not. I am not trading in, I think it's like 850,000 points for a solid gold credit card. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. You can buy gold bars though, which is kind of nice, but 3% back on everything currently is better than 2% back on everything currently. And so, yeah, you're right about that. Robinhood does have some issues and I'm not really fond of dealing with them, but I'm actually a little bit more fond of dealing with them than I am with some of the other online brokers. So, but yeah, no, the Robinhood Gold Card, 3% back while it's here is just incredible. Wow, I am late on the comments, so sorry about that. All right, Vincent, the PayPal debit card is great for 5% cash back on groceries. I was actually talking to Daniel about that because Daniel Sparks, because we were talking about the PayPal debit card, and like, I don't know about you guys. So I know on paper, 5% cash back on groceries is great, but I think I'm just too in the can for points right now that it's like, oh, you know what? I could be getting 5x back on that or 4x on that with the gold card or something like that. And I feel like it's almost like I feel like it's taking something away from my future travel by using the PayPal debit card. But honestly, yeah, 5% cash back on groceries is great. It's nearly impossible to beat because you can use that for Costco. I believe it still codes that way, if I'm not mistaken. So 5% back on Costco, yeah, that's hands down. Like once my wife and I actually like start like buying diapers en masse and things like that, we're definitely going to be more Costco people than we are now. And so that PayPal debit card is going to get some spend. Because you can buy Hilton points at half a cent a piece. And so that's 1 point to 2 Hilton points. So that's the same transfer rate as an Amex point. If you're doing, sorry, if you're doing Hilton. All right, I'm alive, I promise. All right, JC, Strata Elite is my dining card right now. Yes, I get that. 6x back is crazy for the City Nights. 3x back is kind of standard for everything else, but it's great that it's on the same card, honestly. I've had the Amex Gold since the last refresh in late 2018 and barely put any spend on it besides the credits. For most, both CSP, 3x is all you need. Yeah, I agree. And especially with the exception of the Platinum, if you're only using the card for the credits, it may not be the best card. And I kind of had a conversation with Uncle Luke about this because, like, you guys know that I love the Ritz-Carlton credit card. It's one of my favorite cards. But I was telling him, I was like, I've probably spent like $600 on that card so far this year. And he was like, dude, if you're only putting $600 in spend, how can it be that great of a card? And I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. So yeah, I mean, I love having the personal gold card. I have the personal and the business gold card. I love having them, but if I wasn't putting that much spend through it, I don't know if I'd keep it, honestly. But thanks so much for being here, JC. I really appreciate you. DEM, I don't see the value in the gold anymore when you can combine a few no annual fee cards for better multipliers with like or equal partners to Amex. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, DM or DEM, you hit the nail on the head here, right? So this idea, and I feel like it's perpetuated by the points guy and a couple others, that some points currencies are better than others in a substantial way, is marketing, honestly, at this point. Because, Chase points, you get Hyatt, you get Southwest. Southwest isn't what it used to be. Hyatt isn't going to be what it used to be for a while, right? Like, they can't be there. They can't be where they are. Like right now, I can buy 55,000 points every year. Every once in a while they go on sale. I can buy them for like 2.5 cents a point, and I can use them to stay at the Park Hyatt New York, which is $2,500 a night. And so that's crazy. Like I can buy those points off the street. I can convert those points from Chase. It's unsustainable for a brand. And so I don't think that Hyatt's going to be the end all be all anymore. And that's the only thing that Chase really has because, well, United miles are okay, but they're becoming kind of on par with Sky Pesos to a certain degree. In fact, actually, I've had some recent redemptions with Delta where I would prefer them to United. So, that's definitely a solid option. Like, but anyway, the basic point, the transfer partners between Capital One, American Express, Chase, like, I feel like the big ones that I'm using are Air France, Virgin Atlantic, and Air Canada Aeroplan, and maybe some Cathay Pacific in there too, right? Those are kind of my big go-tos, and they're pretty spread out around all of those different partners. So I don't really see, yeah, like it. There's not a whole lot of reasons to only have an American Express card. I get what you're saying on that one. Dem continues, Strata and Prestige for me, JC, at least for the next year. See what happens with the Elite next year. Yeah, absolutely. Amex with the right cards, CSPC needed, are flexible for cashback and transfer partners. Citi the same. Both have had all my spend. Outside of the Amex expense, I feel Citi takes care of all one's needs. Yeah, Citi can be a one-stop shop. Like it is really great. Like they have the cards, and honestly, the custom cash is one of the best cards in the game, despite the limitations, right? You can only spend $500 a month on. I mean, you can spend more, but you shouldn't. You should only spend $500 a month on this card. But like being able to have that as an accessory to these other categories is really crazy and solid, and I love that. Love that absolutely about this card. Yeah, that's a solid option. I didn't. Prestige is too good. Hope they grandfathered it. I used to have it and regret downgrading it, but the Elite is the next best option. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good one. JC, not so hot take that Chase Aeroplan card is better than the Amex Gold for dining and groceries. I've heard a lot of people say that, and honestly, Aeroplan miles are good, right? The only thing I would say is if you're looking at I was looking at Aeroplan miles with United bookings, so domestic United bookings, and like I was able to find some flights on United for like 4 or 5 or 6,000 points, United points, but that same flight would be 15,000 Aeroplan points. So depending on how you transfer those points in, Aeroplan miles may not be as good, but you still get when you use Air Canada Aeroplan, like actually flying Air Canada metal, getting to Europe is a lot cheaper, at least when it comes to taxes and fees, than if you're looking at British Airways or Virgin Atlantic. So that's also kind of a nice little win for them. Dim, I worked at Citi when it rolled and was grandfathered into a 175 annual fee. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I would definitely keep that long term as long as I could. Aeroplane card is underrated. Yeah, I'll agree with that. That's a Chase card too, I think, right? So I don't have that yet. It would definitely be something that I would want to have though over time. GC, I don't have it yet, but we'll apply for airplane next spring when I get back under 524. Yeah, I think at this point I just got to wait 2 years, right? So I can't go 2 years without applying for a card though. Like that's just crazy. 521 Taipei. I just wonder if the platinum refresh will just be 200,000 max, but the spend will increase to 10,000. I absolutely think the spend will increase. I absolutely do. The business platinum might go to 300 because the top tier business platinum offer is 250 right now. I can see that. So that would be a really solid like marketing up to 300,000 points. But yeah, the spending is going to go up. The business platinum spend, if it goes to 300,000, I think is going to be 30,000 requirement. And I think it'll be 10,000 for the personal platinum. I definitely agree. Because they went from 6 recently to 8. So I feel like increments of 2,000 and spend requirements is pretty on par with American Express. DEM got approved today for the Elite with 100,000 points through a link I found on Reddit. Saved me the drive to the branch. That's amazing. I have heard some people say that if you just call into the branch and get them to email you the link, that's also true, but I'm glad the link on Reddit worked. Reddit, a lot of people like to kind of just trash on Reddit for, but there's a reason why all of the big large language models are trying to get into Reddit data, and it's because it's the last bastion of pure uncorporate speak on the internet. And so that's, Reddit definitely has some great things. JC at Dim, congrats. You can make a killing with City Nights at 6x. Yeah, and I heard that some people are really killing it with gift cards on City Nights too. I wonder how long that's going to last though. but while it does, that's a solid option. I have had both Amex Gold, 90,000, 4,000, 3 month sub, and Gold, no lifetime language. Then my recent offer to upgrade a PC, which I took 3 weeks ago. Oh yeah, okay. I will downgrade to green in November before annual fees due. Okay, yeah. So that upgrade offer, so the upgrade offer from the gold to the platinum, that 50,000 point offer, I sat on. I literally, like, I got to the point where I was like, "Do you accept this?" And I was like, "Okay, you know what? I gotta wait. I gotta wait because 50,000, like, it didn't feel like it was enough for me." And so I ended up actually finally getting, after my gold card hit a year, I got that 125,000 point upgrade offer. And so, but yeah, the 50,000 points are 50,000 points. So, like, that's good. And then honestly, the spending requirement for that is not bad at all. DM, thanks. That's the plan. Thanks. Using it in Croatia for the next few weeks for 1.5x too. That is nice. Double Cash has foreign transaction fees. So that's a no-go. Yeah. For the foreign transaction fees, I feel like my primary travel wallet is Capital One. I'm looking at the Saver. I'm rocking the Venture card. Gonna Diver golds are great for subs, though no lifetime language, and upgrade offers once downgrade to green. 5 charge cards, and if you have CS PC, you'll still get upgrade offers for PC upgrades from green and gold. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So Amex just like throws those points at you. It is wild. Calder, thanks so much for being back. I appreciate you. I only use PayPal debit at Costco and Target, Citi, Strata, Premier for other groceries. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I might have to adopt that because using the points just like it works, right? But 5% cash back would really, I think, be better than, say, using the 3%, 3% cash back for sure. But even if I got like a venture, like if I had the Venture X in a Visa, if I was using 2x at Costco, I feel like I would prefer 5% cash back than 2x, right? So yeah, that's a solid strategy, Calder. Thank you. Thanks so much for suggesting that. Professor W at Dim, if you care to point me towards that link, I'm planning on going for the Elite 2. Yeah, I did. They did not like me. I have way too much velocity for them. So, but yeah, no, if you get that link, more power to you. Gunna Diver says, Robinhood Gold is great. I earned my solid gold card with 10 referrals. Okay, so you have it. I gotta ask, how do you use it? Like, I would be terrified of like actually giving that to a cashier at this point, just because like if it gets damaged, like what are you gonna do? Like, with the Robinhood card, you don't have to use it because it integrates really well with Apple Wallet. And you have all those different card numbers and everything. But like, I would be terrified of using that thing. But yeah, I'm glad you love it though. That sounds really awesome. And what's weird though is because like I even hate bringing the regular card out. So the cheap one, I hate bringing it out because they charge you $50 to replace it if you break it. And I'm like, I'm never gonna like I'm just gonna drop the card if I ever like. I'm just going to close the card if I ever drop it or something like that. Gunna Driver, Sears card is best for all day spending. Still working as new card called Citi Thank You MasterCard. I keep getting all kinds of offers on top of 10x food, gas, Walmart, Target, online, and more. Wow, that does sound like a good option. Yeah, if that's working for you, that's amazing. Chase acquire Apple Card. Yeah, it's looking like that. Melting cheese. Thanks so much for being here. So I do have the Apple Card, and I think the one thing, so there's a bunch of hang-ups about acquiring the Apple Card, right? So Chase will want full control. They want the back book at a discount, right? So they want Goldman to take that hit. Goldman doesn't want to take that hit, but they also want out of the business. And so that's one kind of concern. But I think another kind of concern is that Chase definitely strikes me as people that want full control of the card ecosystem. And so, I don't know if we'll even have like the integrated app by the time Chase does take it on, if they do, because their app, like everything lives in that one app, the Chase app, and I don't know if they'd want to have one card that you couldn't control from the Chase app. Like I don't know, that just feels weird to me because Chase is big enough that they're used to getting their way. But yeah, no, it definitely sounds like they're kind of in advanced talks to acquire the Apple Card. We'll see if it's still worth it. A lot of people in credit card TikTok don't think it's worth it to have that card, but the only thing I use it for is you get 3% cash back on Apple purchases, but you also get the 0% APR, which is nice. So I paid for my iPad through that. I paid off my watch recently with the Apple Card, so that's nice. But now that I have these shopping protections with, the extended warranties and the purchase protections and things like that, I feel like I might start putting more things like the Platinum card or the Ritz card, or even honestly the Business Gold card, because that gets you 4 points per dollar on electronic store purchases. So 4 American Express points per dollar for that next iPhone might just be worth pulling that trigger on that one. So, the Apple card is nice, but I can see there being a lot better reasons to do, other cards. Boxer, the way I see it, the way I see Citi, use the custom cash where the CSP overlaps, hit that $500 cap, let the CSP take over the rest. Yeah, okay, so take advantage of the sweet spots when you have them, and then just kind of, yeah, I can definitely see that. Absolutely. That's it. That's a great way to do it. Memphis Mike, Citi would work really well for me if they would fix the fraud department, and they are missing one thing for me to jump on the bandwagon. Delta. I don't think they'll ever get Delta, but that would be nice. But they do have they do have Virgin, they do have Air France, so you can use your Citi points to book Delta, but Delta does kind of treat those kind of bookings like second class citizens, like it's harder to upgrade and things like that. But yeah, no, the fraud department thing, I'll agree with that. The only thing I can say so far is I've been able to use Apple Pay so far with my card pretty well. Now, the only international purchase I did was a deposit on a bed and breakfast in England, and that went over well. So I haven't really. I've heard a lot of people say that they have trouble with being able to verify international purchases. Like I definitely wouldn't want to be in a situation where I go overseas and the Citi Strata Premier was my only card in my wallet, right? So I'd want to have a backup because there's always that potential that Citi kind of freaks out and just makes you wait for them to mail you a letter, and by then you need money. And so, yeah, no, I get that. As far as the fraud department, though, so I actually had a chargeback. So I bought something on TikTok Shop, they never sent it. And so I did a chargeback, and that process was discouraging, but I did win. Now, it did take 6 to 7 months, but I did have to go back and forth and provide like screenshots of things, but I did win. And so that was, nice. I guess they did what they were supposed to. Keith, places like the Park Hyatt only have limited availability for point redemptions. Their exposure is limited and controlled. Yeah, that's on paper. I get that, Keith. That sounds right. But I will say every time that I've wanted to look at the Park Hyatt in New York, there's availability. So, I wonder how limited it is. Or maybe if there's nobody that it's actually exploiting that loophole. But yeah, hands down, I will buy those points, 2.3 cents a point or whatever it is, because that room is worth the $500 or $600 in points that I'll spend buying those points. Absolutely. But yeah, Keith, I haven't seen that personally, but it makes business sense for that to be a thing. Dim, if it's Mike, Air France to Delta. Yeah, Air France is good. I feel like Air France is usually a little bit cheaper than Virgin, but I feel like Virgin might actually have sometimes better kind of award availability. And so that's something to consider. Gonna Diver. I just don't use all my cards other than Amex coupons, new sub spend, and Sears. Then, if no subs at the time, I use 3 cards: the Sears, US Bank Altitude Reserve, and the Robinhood Gold Bill for it. Yeah, if you're team cashback, it's hard to say no to 3% back on everything. I get it, right? Like it's hard, right? You want to use other cards because you want to try out all these other cards in your wallet, but 3% back on everything is nice. Like 3% back on going to Macy's, 3% back on dining, 3% back on, that airfare. Like it's a simple card. If you're looking for simplicity, it's a good. If you're looking for simplicity, I'm going to say that out loud because I'm not accused of saying something else. But yeah, if you're looking for simplicity, the Robinhood Gold is kind of a good option. Dim, what's the Sears have? Didn't realize it was still around. I think it got changed recently. I think that was the deal with that. All right, Memphis Mike at EM Interesting. We'll have to look into that. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Edgar Crespo, thanks for being here. So you won't be able to transfer credit limits, but if you use the card enough, you can request a credit limit to bring it up to 10K, then you immediately get the upgrade offer for the Venture X. Okay. So Edgar, I have been able to transfer credit limits from a bunch of different cards. So I transferred credit limits from my Quicksilver card to my Venture card, as well as like from my Savor card to my Venture card, and from my Venture card back to my Quicksilver card. So they may be restricting that, but I have been able to recently in the last year been able to transfer my credit limits, at least with Capital One. But maybe there's a special rule about upgrading to the Venture X. But that's kind of what I would like to do. That would be really solid. Juan Garcia, I rotate dining cards between the CSR, the Citi CSP, and the Bilt card. Yeah, so the Bilt card, there's a lot going on there. I'm kind of excited, kind of like nervous a little bit about what this is actually going to look like because, changing from Wells Fargo to cardless feels like a downgrade to me. And I don't know what that means. Like, are we going to feel it as far as not having access to good customer service, which I don't get the impression people like the Bilt card because of great customer service anyway. So that's an option, or that's a, concern, right? I love the transfer partners, right? You have Hyatt, you have Alaska or Atmos, sorry. You have a lot of really solid options you don't have anywhere else. And so that's really nice. And the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I definitely get the three. All things being equal, Ultimate Reward points would be a little bit easier to use or to get value from than some of the other ones, just because of the Hyatt thing. But yeah, the Citi Strata Premier is also really solid too, and American really makes it easy to do those redemptions as well. Gonna Diver Sears earns Citi Thank You points, and that's why it's my best transferable currency earning card. I combine with Strata Premier one-to-one transfers and custom cash for cashback and rewards plus, just into the 10% bump. Yeah, that 10% bump was great. If you were all in on Citi's ecosystem, that made sense, right? That made the most sense to reason to have, that whole, like, yeah, the Citi rewards plus, it made sense for that extra bump. But yeah. But yeah, no, thank you points are really great. Having the choice, I think that's 1 to 2. With choice, that's really solid. Being able to, the I prefer system is really easy as well. There's a lot of really good reasons to like Citi. Absolutely. All right. Yeah. Okay. So Sleepy Ride, that's a really great question. So what's the value of Chase points without Hyatt? I was thinking about that actually this morning, and I feel like it would be about the same as, say, a Capital One, or because other than Hyatt, I was trying to think about the ones, the transfer partners I would use, and maybe United, but then again, like you're not getting crazy value with those United miles. It maybe there's some sweet spots, sure, but ordinary, like, it's not nearly as reliable. And then the hotel partners, they don't have exposure to the I prefer stuff. They don't have too many terrible sweet spots because IHG and Marriott are both terrible one-to-ones. You have to fight to get 1 cent per point. Like, it's rare. And so, yeah, no, I think honestly they become about as valuable as Capital One or American Express or even Citi, because, what I would use them for if I didn't have them for Hyatt would be for Virgin or Aeroplan or Air France, and so it really wouldn't matter between either of those. The only reason I care about Chase points is because those are what's going to be my Hyatt points if I ever do a Hyatt stay. Boxer, I'm thinking about trying to get a retention offer on my gold card. Next year downgrade and see what they give me for an upgrade back to the gold. Yeah, I think the retention offer thing has gone, the way of the dodo. I tried to get a retention offer on my gold card. No, like, they acted like it was nearly impossible. I talked to a couple different people. I hung up, called again 4 times, didn't get a single one over the course of 2 months. And I didn't get one, but I downgraded. Well, no, I didn't downgrade, but I did get an upgrade offer, which is weird because it's a separate department. So you talk to someone about canceling your card. They're like, well, we can't do anything for you. And I was like, well, can I upgrade it? And they're like, oh, let me put you on hold. And so you got to wait to talk to somebody else. But yeah, no, that's good. I don't know about the retention offer, but the downgrade upgrade offer is pretty solid. So, that's definitely going to be great. Yeah, so let's see. What else? What haven't we talked about yet? You know what? We haven't talked about the Venmo card. What do you guys think about the Venmo card? So this card is issued by Synchrony Bank, and this one it's a Visa signature. So if you don't get it, I think if you don't get approved for $6,000 in credit limits, then you do get just a regular Visa card. But with that, it gets 3% back on your top purchase category, which can include dining. And then you get 2% cash back on your second category, and then 1% back on everything else. So it kind of works very similar. There's a TD Bank card that has kind of the same feel. And so that's pretty interesting. And they have their own, so it works through the Venmo app. You actually don't have to have the Synchrony app installed in order to be able to manage this card, which I really like because the Synchrony app sucks. You can't really do a whole lot of things with it, which so that's kind of a fun card to use. I haven't really used it that much since I got the sign up bonus, but it's definitely a good one to consider at the very least. All right, let's say here, Calder. I cashed out my Chase points to pay for airfare and FHR hotel my Platinum at 5x MR. Oh, okay, there you go. That's actually brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, Chase points remain kind of the easiest to cash out, right? Because no matter which card you earn them on, you can redeem them for 1 cent per point. And so Citi recently made that change. Capital One, if they're venture miles, you can't cash those out for full value. Amex, you have to have either a business platinum card and a business checking account to get 1 cent per point, or you need the Charles Schwab platinum card in order to get 1.1 cent per point. So yeah, so cashing out those Chase points is good. Yeah, so that's one option totally. Gonna Diver. Apple Card is giving some 5% $500 capped offers recently. I have point earning cards that are flexible for cashback and then cashback cards to savings and investments. On my radar is the Atmos Summit. Yeah, those Atmos cards are really sweet. I'm really kind of excited to see where I go with Bank of America. Like maybe in the next 6 or 7 months, I can try and kind of think about getting one, in which case I would probably honestly prefer getting one of those Atmos cards just because that would really be a solid way to earn some points. Sleepy Ride, I still think Amex points are way more valuable than Chase. Yeah, okay. So I get how you can use those cards, but honestly, I don't I don't know how they're way more valuable. What transfer partners do you use, Sleepy Rod? Maybe that'll help. Just because I know that there are some exclusives with American Express, but there's not a lot of exclusives. All right, Gonna Diver, Bilt plus Atmos makes sense for me with my Citi and Amex setup. Yeah, that's a solid card, and honestly, those Atmos points currently are valuable. There's a lot of speculation and theorizing if that will change over time, but right now it looks like that's pretty good. And so yeah, absolutely. Boxer says people can laugh. I'm thinking of taking a slight break from points and miles and using my active cash for a bit. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to laugh at you because first of all, everyone here needs to do what's best for them. Right. And simplicity can be really helpful as someone who has, a notebook of cards, I'm craving a little bit more simplicity. And so, I definitely understand wanting to just do some cash back, and I definitely won't fault you for it. I haven't been able to make that move yet, but I definitely think that's great that you're able to kind of figure that out. Boxer, or moving my cash back from my Savor card to my Spark card and just switch the Savor to actually use it for cash back. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, the Savor card too is, I think of it in terms of points just because I also have my Venture card. But yeah, no, it's absolutely cash back. And so you can use it as straight cash back. And if you wanted to just do a straight cash back setup, you have the Quicksilver at 1.5x and the Savor card. So yeah, you have a lot of really good options with those, with the Savor card, with the Quicksilver cards. Background Balloon, thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate you. Larry Gordon, I see a large difference in customer service and how they take care of their cardholders. Personally, I feel that Amex is the best, more on the side of the cardholder. Yeah, no, especially if you're comparing it to like Citi or something like that, it's really solid. The only kind of pushback I'll give to that is with Chase, having access to the Ritz-Carlton card gives you access to a special JP Morgan customer service line. And this line is stupid awesome. So you call in, you just call, you dial the number on the back of the card, you call in, you don't go to a phone tree. It just rings and someone picks it up. every single time I've called. And you can use them for other kind of cards as well. So like I use them to talk about my my Southwest Priority card, which I recently called to cancel. So despite the fact that they recently increased the annual fee on the Southwest Priority card, I got $150 annual fee on that one. And I called them. I was like, hey, like, I'm thinking about canceling this thing. What can you guys do anything for me? And they gave me a full statement credit for that annual fee, which is, really nice. But yeah, no, American Express, they have really good customer service. People will advocate for you. Some of them are confidently wrong, which means like they're just as reliable as ChatGPT, but they can help you eventually, which is really important. Larry Gordon, I think Amex representatives are more knowledgeable. Yeah, they can be more knowledgeable. They can think that they're more knowledgeable as well. So sometimes they can confidently tell you that you didn't get a sign-up bonus, and maybe you did, right? Or vice versa. Dim says, at Gonna Diver, what are the multipliers on Sears? Yeah, I'm also curious. I want to learn more about Sears. All right. So background balloon, was the U.S. Bank Altitude Go covered already? For what it's worth, it's pretty decent. No annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, and a base 3.2% cash back with a U.S. Bank checking account. Yeah, no, I haven't covered that, honestly. We've been kind of just meandering our way through the comment section. So yeah, that really does sound really great. Now, the only thing I don't like about U.S. Bank is, well, they don't like me. So I don't currently have any U.S. Bank cards. And so they're kind of my one. Barclays is also kind of the one that they're just like, you know what, we're good. We don't need some points with Phillip. But yeah, no, that definitely sounds great. No annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, and a base 3.2% back rate. Yeah, let's do that all day. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That sounds amazing. Boxer says, I don't want the binder of cards. Most of what I have now are what I'm calling my keepers. Yeah, no, I agree. It's tough, right? I got to log into my Max Rewards Gold app every morning. I got to make sure that I'm, making sure that, all of my auto pays are set up at the right time and all that. It's a lot of back end work. I will agree to that. All right. We have Chambi. I think Haile Selassie. I'm assuming I said that correctly. Hello, Mr. Phil. Thank you for the Fidelity Visa card video. I love that video. I applied and got approved. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that you got approved. Yeah, that's one of my favorite cards. And it's a great all around card, right? You don't have to think about it, right? If you just have this, you can just go and have this one card for your travel wallet, right? So no foreign transaction fees, no annual fee, and it gets 2% cash back on everything. So you can just take it with you. And, I would definitely recommend having a backup, especially if you're traveling overseas, just in case there is something funky that goes down with Fidelity's backend. But, all things being equal, I really love that card. So I'm glad you have it. Hopefully you love it as well. Background balloon. At least ChatGPT won't give you attitude when they're confidently wrong. That's true. That is very true. Yeah. Those Amex reps, sometimes when they decide that they know a lot more than you do, they get pretty testy. So yeah, no, I that's a great point. Background balloon. All right, Gonna Diver said, my wife has had 2 Chase cards, so the Prime and the Ritz, great cards. She just received earlier this year the CSP 100,000 sub. That's the same thing my wife did. But other than the CSP 100,000 sub, we have so many cards that this card will not be kept. Yeah, I agree. The Amazon Prime card is kind of a weird spot in my wallet. Like, I don't ever actually pull it out, but it is my most used cashback card. And so everything that I buy on Amazon goes on it, because you have the option for 5% cash back on Whole Foods, Amazon, and then also Amazon grocery delivery, which is also kind of nice. So you get 5% back on groceries if you decide to go that way. But, it's a great card, but it also has that 0% APR financing for certain large purchases. So I live in Florida, so we actually have backup batteries for our house. And I actually bought those on Amazon. And then, I've been paying them off. I'm almost done paying them off with my Amazon Prime card. And so that's been really helpful. Having that kind of flexibility is really, really nice. And so the Amazon card's great. The Ritz card, I love it. This made me feel like a baller in the Sapphire Lounge, because this card, it gets you in with unlimited gas, which I didn't realize it was unlimited, but the Frequent Miler mentioned it on their podcast, and all of my data points say that sounds like they're right. But the Sapphire Lounge is my favorite lounge, hands down. The one in Philadelphia, just was crazy, insanely amazing. The shower suite was great. The facial was great. The fact that you can order those Sapphire Club noodles to your table, it's just a great card. But yeah, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I don't know if we're going to keep it as that. We might transfer it to an unlimited or something like that. But yeah, thanks so much for sharing that, Gunna Diver. Boxer. Now I'm thinking about it. There's really only 3 or 4 cards that I want before being done. So 2 Chase, 2 Citi, maybe an IHG card. Yeah, when you start thinking about the lens about the credit card game through that lens, it kind of changes your perspective a little bit. Like, when you're thinking of, okay, and I was thinking about that. So do I care about Chase 524 status, right? And I had to think, okay, if I could get any card on Chase right now, what would they be? And they were like 3 cards on the list, right? So the Aeroplane card, one United card, so maybe the Explorer card, and then an IHG card, maybe the Boundless card. So 3, maybe 4. And I was like, that's not really, those 3 cards aren't enough for me to completely change how I approach credit cards. And so yeah, no, I definitely think that's, it's a weird way to think about things, but yeah, when you're like, I kind of hit on all the biggies, we could tone it down a little bit. I get that. Gonna Diver. Yep, I'm transitioning, reduce my active cards from 36 to 24 within the next 6 to 12 months. Reallocation of limits and closures. Yeah, I just recently closed my Hilton business card. And so I had 15,000 on that limit. And then I had 15,000 on my Blue Business Plus. And so I actually was able to transfer nearly all of my limit on my Hilton business card to my Blue Business Plus, and then I closed it. So, that one almost has $30,000 on it, which is really, really nice. So yeah, make sure you're transitioning or reallocating your limits. I'm at the point where I'm like, I think it's like $230,000 in personal credit card limits. And so I'm actually getting to the point now where like, when I apply for loans and things, they're like, well, you have way too much exposure to available credit limits. And so that's becoming a problem. So I might actually deliberately kill some cards that have a lot of credit limits just because I kind of want to be able to maybe get approved for other loans in the future. Gonna Diver. Sears has been discontinued for a few years. They had 2, mine called Sears Thank You from Citi, that earned Citi Thank You points, and the one that just got discontinued recently, the Shop Your Way card that earned Shop Your Way points. Okay, all right. So that is weird that Sears would let that happen, but maybe they weren't in the best negotiating position at the time. That's a really good point. All right, Boxer. Not really sure if I want an IHG. I got the Marriott business card that I love, and I have the plain Hilton card. I don't care much about status, so that card with no annual fee I use a lot, and it's a great earner. Honestly, I just picked up that card. Let's see if I have it in my wallet. I love having props. So I just got this card because I got the 100,000 point sign up bonus with I think it's the $100 statement credit after spending $2,000 in 6 months. It's a solid card. Like if you're looking for a no annual fee card, Hilton's silver status doesn't get you anything, but being able to earn 7 points per dollar on Hilton is nice. Being able to earn, I think, 3 points per dollar on everything is decent. So if you're in Hilton's ecosystem all the way and you don't want to spend anything on annual fees, the no annual fee Hilton card is great. The Marriott business card is on my roadmap for next year. So I'm eligible for the sign up bonus for that in February. And by then, I'll also be able to close my Blue Business Cash card, which will give me an open slot for that. So I'm definitely feeling you on that one. All right, background balloon. I'm in a similar spot. Aeroplan, Boundless, and United Explorer would be nice, but not worth missing out on some of the recent elevated offer. Yeah, exactly. Like if I get 175,000 points for another platinum card, like yeah, let's go. Gonna Diver cannot get any more. Also, they stated it would change in March. However, it has not. Okay, well, here's hoping nobody talks about it online and that it stays the same way. Background balloon. I went from 524 in October 2024 to 924 as of today when I realized those cards were not keepers and I wouldn't get too much use out of them. Yeah. Before I had the Chase Sapphire Preferred, I thought that it would be the end all be all for my wallet because I was like, oh, Chase points are amazing. I really want to be in on this thing. Now that I have it, we haven't really used it. It's nice that we have a decent amount, and my wife got a the Ink Unlimited recently too, and so we have a healthy amount of points, which is great. But like, I don't think we're going to put much more spend on it, just because we'd much rather be earning Amex points at this point as well. All right, Gunna Diver says, so speaking only for, must have missed a message. All right. Vincent, Amex's Amazon business cards are a great way to get Amex's return protection benefit. Oh, without paying an annual fee. Okay, I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. The only thing that so I did a video on this not too long ago. It's a solid card. It's really great. The only thing I don't like about it is that it takes up an Amex slot. And for me, I have the Amex, the Blue Business Plus, the Blue Business Cash Card. I have the Hilton Honors Card, the Hilton Aspire Card, and the Delta Business Gold Card. And so that's as many cards as Amex will let me have, at least credit cards. And so, like, I'd have to give up something in order to be able to get the Amex Amazon Business Card. And so, like, it's a great card. I can't see myself getting it because of that, right? Because honestly, I'm planning on turning my Hilton Honors Card into an Aspire card whenever I hit that sign up bonus, and then so that's I'm not going to give up an Aspire card. But yeah, no, definitely understand that. All right, Calder DS got the $100,000 sub on the base Hilton card. My second via no lifetime language. Okay, great, Calder. That's amazing. Yeah, that's the same offer I got, and I'm excited about it. Honestly, 100,000 extra Hilton points is really going to do great because my wife and I were going to be staying at the Caledonian in Edinburgh. It used to be a Waldorf, but now it got downgraded to I think a Curio collection or something, which is great because it's only 60,000 points a night. On season, so in season. So it did used to be 100,000 points a night when it was a Waldorf. So same room, just 40,000 points cheaper. So I don't know what that means for the property. So we may not want to stay there, but it will help kind of make our trip to Edinburgh significantly cheaper. Phillip, the Marriott business card for me is amazing. It's my primary high business spend card. I got 50,000 free night award instead of the 35,000 for the spend I put it on. Wow. Okay. Again, for me, great earner. Yeah. So I can definitely see that. And that's the great thing about those kind of cards, like the Hilton Surpass card, $15,000 in spend for that free night award. Woof, that's amazing, right? Like if I actually did a decent amount to spend, like I would do that. I actually was considering that because I'm doing the sign up bonus on my Delta Business Gold card, and I think it has I think it's like $6,000 for the sign up bonus. No, it's $4,000 for the sign up bonus, but $6,000 spent on that card gets you, I think it's $200 in Delta flight credits or something like that. And I'm actually like thinking like, okay, after I get the sign up bonus, do I want to keep spending on that card so I can get that $200 in credit? Like that, is that worth it to me? Right. And so like, I gotta wonder, like, because like I'm so close to it that it's like, oh, how can I not at this point, But yeah, no, that's a great point. Like those free night awards with Marriott are like, they do have some limitations, but I love that you can book them online. I love that you can cancel them online and you get them back immediately. Like they're very, very flexible. The only thing I don't like about them is I think those are the ones that expire after 1 year of actually earning it, right? So yeah, I think I've heard that you can extend it up to a month if you call in beforehand. But yeah, no, I really love using those Marriott free night awards. Degasmed said, I'll argue forever that the gold card is not for most people. For dining, there are tons of choices. Cashback for points. For free cashback, you have PayPal debit, Bank of America custom cash, etc. Yeah, and so in my mind, there's kind of an either or situation, and I'm kind of realizing that it's definitely not either or. But I was thinking, like the thumbnail, the Amex Gold Card versus the Savor Card, and so the Amex Gold Card, it seems to work for me if you can use the credits, right? If you can buy into the card, use the credits to get value. Having 4x, all things being equal, is better than having 3x. However, if you're somewhere where you can't really use the credits or you have other options like the PayPal debit card and you get 5% cash back, then 5% beats 3%. It also beats 4x for some people, right? And so, yeah, no, I definitely agree. The American Express Gold Card is not for some people. In fact, I actually had a student ask me just the other day if they thought what I thought about the Gold Card. And I was like, well, I like it, but I don't think that someone who's in high school should probably be spending $325 on a credit card. And I feel like that can be kind of applied to a lot of different people, right? So it's a lot of money for that card. It's a lot of investment. And when you look at the transfer partners, you're not really getting many more transfer partners than you're getting from, say, Capital One or Citi, right? Uh, and so, yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Calder, my CSP is going to be a Freedom Unlimited very soon. Yeah, no, I agree. Not like I plan on using the Freedom Unlimited that much, but having that option will be nice, better than just completely closing the card. I agree with that. For points, just use the ecosystem that you transfer from the most. No need to pay for a card to get good restaurant benefits. Yeah, no, I agree with that. So most of my transfers have been to either Virgin or Air France, and one of the great things is literally everyone transfers to Virgin or Air France, almost everybody. And so, like for me, there is no real difference when I'm traveling overseas between a Capital One point, a Chase point, an Amex point, or a Citi point. And so, each one of those has different strengths, but for most of my use cases, there really isn't a functional difference. And so, for that, yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. Gunna Diver, going back to the Sears card. My version earns 1 point on everything, but every month it has stackable spin bonuses that are from 5x, 10x, and 15x. It's amazing as they are thank you points. Wow, yeah. So at the end of the month, depending on how much you spent, you get 5 or 10 or 15x points. That's amazing. That does sound like a great card. No wonder it got axed, sadly. All right. Sounds like we're having a really great conversation. So thanks so much for being here, really, guys. I appreciate you all. And Boxer, in fact, I just learned a hack on how a place is coded for me. I'm in a trucking company. One place that I buy tires and do my PM services is coding as gas stations. So 2 tires at $1,650 times 4 as well. Oh, wow. Okay. So you own a trucking company and you buy tires. So where is it? Oh, it goes to gas stations. Okay, wow. Yeah, that business the business gold card is doing it for you. That's amazing. And plus, honestly, well, depending on how you structure your trucking business, right? Those gas purchases could also be kind of substantial. Now, I think there's a limit. I think it's like what $150,000 in spend each year for those categories or something like that. So I have actually seen like friends of mine like have trucking companies and or trucking businesses, and they'll actually go through 2 or 3 of those cards in a year, which is those are a lot of points, right? Yeah, you definitely like my wife. So my wife works in advertising, and so the 4x in advertising is really good. So it's one of the reasons why I would keep the business gold card, because it makes sense when you're putting a lot of spin through it, and so that's a solid option. Boxer, my oil changes, which are $500 plus per oil change. Yeah. I have not looked into having to do an oil change on a big rig truck, but I can't imagine it being cheap. So that sounds like that would do about right. Of course, on my Honda Accord, like I have to get full synthetic, and I just go down to the Valvoline's place, and despite the fact that I always get a 20% off coupon, it always ends up being about $100 for whatever reason. It is what it is, right? All right, Sleepy Rod. Maybe I'm wrong about Chase points being less valuable than Amex. It's just hard to get above 2 cents a point with Hyatt now. Their free night credits yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, I'm definitely not saying you're wrong, Sleepy Rod. Like I'm genuinely curious. Like I get wanting to or I get valuing one point over another. I was just curious if there was something that you were seeing that I wasn't. So, but yeah, no, Hyatt, it's definitely not as valuable as it used to be. And I don't foresee it being much, much more valuable than it currently is for very long. But here's hoping I'm wrong, honestly. All right, I am at plat level with BOA, so that's 75% extra, and it's a killer setup all around. Yeah, once I get into Bank of America, I get why Ask Sebi is all up in that Bank of America business, right? He loves them, and it's because he's got money, right? He's got money in those accounts, and like if I could carry around a card that gets 5, 6, 7% off on everything, then yeah, let's do it. No wonder I would be team cashback all the way on that front. Background Bloom, OMG Box, I was going to say that you're getting ripped off on those oil changes until I read your comment above where you mentioned your company. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those big rig oil changes, I can imagine those being a little substantial. That's crazy. All right. Thanks so much for being here, Gunna Diver. I really appreciate you. I'm sure you probably left a while ago, but you're awesome. Thank you so much for your information too. All right, Boxer at Background Balloon. That's actually cheap. One truck is close to $800. Tires are for me are about 3,500 on what I use. Could be as high as 5,000. It hurts after. I can imagine, especially like I can imagine why a lot of those truckers kind of like let those tires go to the point where they're like blow up on the interstate because that can be a lot, especially if you're just like if you're a one person company, right? And you're like running the full cost of owning that rig. I can imagine it being difficult to kind of circle that square, at least on a reliable basis. All right, background balloon. At least with Amex, I feel like you know what you're getting into, and the credits are generally pretty usable. Mini Chase credits are very lackluster, in my opinion. I am so glad you brought that up because Anthony and I just finished recording a discussion about how I believe that the American Express Platinum Card is so much better than Chase Sapphire Reserve. And so we're going to drop that tomorrow. But I'm so glad you asked about that because I also agree. Some of those Chase credits are what were they thinking? But yeah, thanks so much for bringing that up. Boxer says at background balloon, my PM intervals are 15 to 20,000 miles. If I get this work, that's about once every month and a half. Wow. That's, oh man, getting my tires changed every month and a half would be crazy. All right, and we won't even go to the insurance payments. Yeah, I'm sure the insurance payments are a lot. Honestly, I uh, I get every once in a while I go on Reddit through I look for mildly bad drivers on the subreddit, and it's just like if I were driving a truck, I would be terrified because like everyone's an idiot and you're the only one that's like limited by physics, like I can't imagine doing that. That would just stress me out so much. At Boxer, if those expenses just don't stop piling up, yeah. Oh, also Boxer for those insurance payments, Mesa card, 3 points per dollar. Maybe. Now, of course, Mesa it's a whole other kettle of fish. But the Mesa homeowner card, like I've been getting a lot of use out of. I've been getting like 6,000 points a month just on stuff that I normally do anyway. But yeah, 3 points per dollar on insurance is really good. All right. Yeah. So Boxer, no sir, that's on my Marriott card. I won't do the gold card for the business. Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. Those free night awards are nice. I get you on that one. And those Marriott points honestly are not terrible. My wife and I are going to Atlanta, and we're staying at an AC and Perimeter Center, and we got I think it's 2 nights for 50,000 Marriott points. So 25,000 points a night. It's like I think it was like 250 a night. So it's like it's definitely not like terrible from a per dollar perspective, but it was actually only about 5,000 more points, Marriott points more than a similar Hilton property or not a Hilton Hyatt property. And so like I was like, wow, like I thought Hyatt was supposed to be amazing. But to have similar amount of points to get 2 free nights and a Marriott property comparably, that really was a kind of a weird eye-opening thing with me. Box drive background below, and you don't even know. That's without other repairs, taxes, tolls. I can go on forever. Yeah, those tolls are amazing. And when you have more axles, they go up kind of astronomically, I believe, right? So I was towing a boat down the turnpike in Florida, and yeah, that one was really crazy. Sam H. Amex Plat refresh coming with new card design option. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. So I dropped a video earlier today. So this is kind of a different design. We already kind of showed some people this, but you can see like I don't know if you can see it, but the World Express or World Service kind of thing is raised up a little bit, and the metal is harder. Like it's just like it doesn't bend nearly as much. It's much more kind of firm. So I think they actually have redesigned it. So I think this is the old design, but we have talked a little bit about there being a rumor of a mirrored finish design, and I think that's one of the reasons why they made it more kind of textured so that there's more of a difference between the regular platinum card and the mirrored platinum card. But yeah, no, that refresh is going to be interesting. As far as any other design options, we really haven't heard anything specifically about that, but we can hear something soon. It sounds like the changes are going to be launching on September 18th, which means they're going to be announcing that before then. So we could definitely hear probably in the next 3 weeks, we will definitely know what's going on with the platinum card. Just an aside to my boss, I may be calling out that day. Vincent Pasquale, I was at a car dealership yesterday to pick up my car from service, and I saw a woman in the next line pulling out an Amex Black from a Louis Vuitton wallet. Yeah. All right. So the stupidest financial decision I make on a regular basis is I get my hair done, and more specifically my beard done, at a place called Hammer and Nails, because so it's kind of a more expensive place to go, but like they give you like a bunch of extra stuff, and it makes me feel like I've been pampering every time I go. There's some rich dude with a Lamborghini or somewhere that's going to get his haircut at the same place, which probably means I'm overpaying. But and they always pull out a platinum card. I'm just like, come on, dude, you could be doing so much better. But I get they don't care about it. But like, goodness gracious, but yeah, honestly, when I first heard that you were able to at some point buy a car with a platinum card, like I was like, no, that's stupid. But I was like, yeah, you totally would be able to. Like I've put, so my business card, my business platinum card. Let me pull that out. This card here is my highest spending card to date. So I paid my taxes on here, so $22,000. And I just recently put my kind of the deposit down on the adoption. So that was another 28,000. So in two purchases, first of all, I got 1.5x back on that. But it's just it's crazy when you take a look at like how much you can put on a card, and it didn't do anything, like, because I don't have a credit limit on that card. Like, I mean, I have a pay over time limit of like 60,000 or something, but like it's just it's crazy, the kind of freedom and flexibility you get with those platinum cards. So yeah, it's crazy. Vincent, was she single? No idea. You should have asked, but that's amazing. Honestly, Louis Vuitton bags or Louis Vuitton wallets just sound like they're the more expensive versions of, like, because I feel like Burberry is like a little bit more accessible. Louis Vuitton is just like they're expensive to be expensive. All right, what do we think about the 100,000 bonus for the Strata Elite? Yeah, if you can get it, that's great. Citi has kind of demonstrated that they will only go down from there, right? So the Citi Strata Premier, it opened up with 75,000 points, and it stayed for a while, but then it went back down to 60,000 points, and so it's been there for a while. Every once in a while, they'll jack it back up to 75, but I don't feel like it'll go higher than 100,000 points. WQD. All right, the Boxer. That's why I don't go down to Florida. Yeah, the drivers. I I legitimately thought all tourists were stupid because I grew up in an area that was very around I drive. So that's kind of the area where most of the tourists end up. And all the drivers there were idiots, right? They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't use turn lanes. They just no idea how basic roadside handling worked. But it makes sense to me now. And I'll say this because I rented a car both times I went to London. And I didn't drive around London proper because they have kind of a per day tax on driving in central London. But I drove kind of around the countryside, and I get it. Driving on the opposite side of the road with signs that don't make sense, with colors that don't make sense, can be difficult. And when you take all those people and you put them in the same area with those rental cars and those British people coming in to go to Orlando and Disney and everything, it makes sense. So maybe Florida drivers are actually just British drivers figuring stuff out for the first time. Boxer said, my insurance actually gets financed through an insurance finance company. The new one I'm with is charging $120 for a convenience fee using a card. Okay. Yeah, so no cards there, just not worth it. Yeah, no, I agree. $120 for a convenience fee is crazy. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I would not pay that, especially on a monthly basis, right? Background balloon. The fact that the first recommended video under the stream is one of those body cam videos of a major accident I-94, and the thumbnail is a semi truck on fire, uploaded about an hour ago. Yeah, yeah, it's terrifying to watch those things, man. But I can't stop watching them. When I see them, I'm like, I gotta see this. Background balloon. I'll not get into that. It'll turn political fast. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Calder, personal platinum is like the Apple card. If you pull out the physical card for payment, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, no, I agree. Which sucks, right? Because I feel like we only get punished for using the prettiest of the cards, right? The Apple card, it's sexy, right? It is heavy. It does the clangy thing, right? It is a nice card to use, but you can never use it. Same thing with the platinum card. It sucks. Sam H. I feel like Amex will start cracking down on people that start using pay over time with high balances. Yeah, like they definitely have been encouraging it, right? So the old adage used to be Amex doesn't want people to carry a balance on their cards. They super duper do, right? They send me an email at least twice a month for each of my cards, reminding me, oh, have you considered using our pay over time feature? It's so convenient. And then they have, the other separate thing where you go on a payment agreement, you pay a fee, and they make it as part of the checkout process for the fine hotels and resorts, right? You can put it on that card and you can pay it off over time with limited interest, right? But no, yeah, they will definitely get, especially with how high some of these limits are, right? My platinum card, my personal platinum card, has a pay over time limit of I think like 30,000. My business platinum has a pay over time limit of 60,000. Like, if I hit any one of those, I am deep financial trouble, right? And that has to be for everyone else. Dim, if you're looking for a meal prep company that codes as a restaurant, check out for Fire Road. If you're they're plant-based meals and they're delicious. Okay, all right, I'll have to check them out. I'm assuming that's like some degree of vegetarian or vegan is what plant-based meals means, right? I'm definitely not opposed to that. There was this one restaurant that was next to my office in Washington D.C. It was completely vegan, actually, right? But they had it was a sandwich shop. They had soups. It was good. I loved that place. It ended up shutting down, though. I think I was one of the few people that did love it. But yeah, no, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'll have to give it a shot. Thank you for the heads up. Boxer, I lived in Florida for 4 years, Palm Beach. I've seen things in Florida that I've never seen before. To the point it takes a lot now to shock me from what I've seen in Florida. As a fellow Floridian, absolutely. And so I actually, I work for a news company. And so the stuff that we get it's people are terrible, and they're at their best when they're being terrible to each other. Preferably with chicken tender subs in their hands, right? But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Palm Beach is its whole other world, though. It really is. Background balloon, hot take: luxury wallets that obnoxiously advertise their logos, like Louis and Gucci, are overrated. You get a better deal if you get something more normal, like Trayvax, what I use currently, or yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I really got very close to buying a Ralph Lauren Polo Bear wallet. I was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like this is just it's a card wallet. It was a card wallet that I could have gotten on Amazon for $20 because it had the Ralph Lauren logo on it and a polo bear on it. All of a sudden, it was worth $150, and I was like, "No, I'm not going to do this. This is stupid." Now, what the kind of wallets I do. I love extra wallets. These extra wallets here, are really great. Very slim. Like I love this one here. And so I use that, but also I really do like my Bellroy wallets as well. And so this one is really great. It kind of just has some nice little slots. It's very simple. I love the leather quality. It's really great. But yeah, no, I don't really go for name brands unless it's like they're known for their leather or something, which none of those companies are known for their materials. It's just the style, Sam H. Amex should pull out from pay over time and make it charge card exclusive. Oh, that actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because this pay over time feature, it's weird. The banks are kind of trying to embrace it, and I get it because it's trying to fight this whole idea of Afterpay and Klarna. I feel like this is a bubble that's going to go away, But yeah, the charge card exclusive, it makes sense because specifically, you should not be carrying a balance. But if you do, this is how much it is, right? And so that makes sense to me. I could go with that. Vincent, the exception of paying with a physical platinum card is when you're meeting minimum spend towards a welcome upgrade or retention offer. Yes, I recently completed my spend on my personal platinum card, and I actually was physically using it, and I hated it every single time because, I would get the statement every month, and I was like, oh, I only got 2,000 points this year or this month or something like that. It's like, it should be more. It should be a lot more. And it never was. Now that I have that $125,000 sign up or 125,000 point sign up bonus, yeah, I feel better about it. But yeah, no, it hurts when you do it. I definitely get you. Background balloon. Bilt was so close to being the credit card that you could flex. It looks sleek, in my opinion, does the clink thing, etc. Their multipliers just weren't competitive enough. Yeah, Wells Fargo, for some reason, has not liked me. And then I got a checking account with them for the sign up bonus because they did. I've actually cycled through that one. This will be my third time getting the sign up bonus, and they confirmed that I actually am eligible for it. But I got that, and that's when I got my one key card. And everything else, though, they won't give me a card, so they wouldn't give me the Bilt card. So maybe I'll be able to have the Bilt card after it becomes a cardless card. But yeah, no, the multipliers, especially if they do lean into some of these rumors and they make the multipliers like it has to be on like a built neighborhood restaurant. There's not a lot of those around me, and so like if it's completely based off of built neighborhood restaurants, I'm out immediately. No, that will not work for me. Background balloon continues. Vegan and vegetarian restaurants have so much potential, but it's ruined by the hipster ones that just sell mid salads. Yeah, no, I agree. They were good. They had really interesting flavors. They were doing cool experiments with stuff. Like it was a great place to eat. It just, yeah, no, it, most of the things, most of their marketing was like towards the salads and everything. And it was just like, it was disappointing in that respect. But yeah, no, I agree. Just because you're vegan or vegetarian doesn't mean your food has to suck or that you have to eat plant food. 521 Taipei. Out of the 18 cards you got this year, how many are business and how many denials have you received? Okay, that's a great question. So the business cards that I have, I got the platinum business, I got the business gold card, and let's see, I'm trying to think. I think those might have been the only business cards actually, because yeah. Yeah, I think those are the only. Actually, no, the Delta business card. I got the Delta business card, the Delta Gold one. So yeah, denials. So denials. I was denied for the or the Barclays, the Aviator Red card. I was denied for the Citi Strata Premier with a sign-up bonus. I had to transfer, product change mine. I was denied for the Citi Strata Elite. I was denied for, let's see, I was denied for something recently too. Bank of America Custom Cash Rewards. I applied for, got denied for that. And that was just this month. It's been a weird month for me on approvals. But yeah, so yeah, I've had a decent amount of denials. And so that's probably why I'm actually going to start slowing down. I might, so my Virgin Red card, I will have had it for a year in next month, so September. And so I'm going to close that and then see if I can get another sign up bonus. So like reopen that card. So we'll see if I get that, because 40,000 or 50,000 points, because it's high now, could be really helpful for that. So I love Virgin points. Yeah, the cruise option is really nice. So that's one of the things I really love about them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a great question, 521 Taipei. Thank you. Boxer, let's get to the meat and potatoes of everything. Should I get Thai buffalo chicken sandwich or barbecue? That's yeah. Thai buffalo chicken sandwich or barbecue. I think I would lean more towards Thai right now. Honestly, I feel like I haven't really had a lot of Thai food recently. Buffalo chicken sandwich sounds really good too. But the one thing I did notice about being on the shots, I've lost about 100 pounds so far. I'm really a lot more acceptable with hot and spicy foods. Like it's very surprising for me. I can eat a lot, like really much spicier foods than I was able to before I was on the shots. I was kind of a wimp back then. All right, WQD. Does Citi have any kind of family rules? Say if I got S Elite, can I apply S Premier next year? I don't believe that they have those kind of restrictions on sign-up bonuses. At least, so I'm assuming you're asking, do I get the the sign-up bonus for that card? I don't believe they do. I think Amex is the only one that's kind of like that, at least about like all of their families, right? With the exception of Hilton. Boxer, I'm actually wondering if I pay over time is the reason why my gold card is reporting to the agencies. Oh, okay. So, is this Boxer? Is this a business gold card? Or is this a personal? I think you said it was a business gold card, right? That is weird because it shouldn't be. If it's interesting, maybe that could be it. That's wild. I would actually dispute that because it's a business card. It shouldn't be up there. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. WQD. I just got approved 100,000 elite. Nice, good job. We're doing the live approval, but at this time it's the audience. So everyone else apply for a card right now, and we'll see what happens. That's great. Good job. Background balloon. Belroy is up there in price, but it's one of the few times the price is really justified. I have to agree. Their warranty is nice. And the stitching is the only thing that I've been a little concerned about. I've had this wallet for about a year and a half. And it's starting to, let's see, yeah, there's some of the stitching is starting to come out a little bit over, where's that right here. And so like, but like the quality of the leather, it's just amazing. It's toned really well. It's just it fits my cards. I really love it. But yeah, no, it is up there in price though. Background blue and agree. Been vegan for a decade now. Okay, great. That's awesome. How did applying for all those cards affect your credit score? All right, so if you go by Chase's credit monitoring service goes off of a non-FICO score, so it's what Credit Karma uses, right? And so there, according to them, I'm at 630. However, my FICO score is depending on which one you track, is 720 to 750. So like, and FICO score is kind of like basically the Chase score, it kind of craters every new approval I get. And so it kind of evens up after about like maybe a week or two after, or not a week or two, maybe a month or two after. And so like it kind of looks like this actually. But you know, FICO scores pretty much just stay pretty even. That really doesn't seem to affect that much. Philmo's World. Philmo uses an Ocean Pacific Velcro wallet he won in an egg toss contest in 8th grade in 1986. That sounds like an amazing wallet. Hopefully I get to see it on the trip to Puerto Rico because I think you said you're going now, right? So hopefully I'll be able to see that wallet in person. Do you pay your W-2 income taxes in advance to hit a high spending limit for a welcome offer, or does it just come from natural spend? Yeah, so Sleepy Rod, my wife and I both have business income. And so we actually decided to start our own LLC. And we basically have all those kind of different incomes go towards that. And so pretty much like there's a lot of things that we claim. So my wife maintains we basically we have a home office, right? So this room, and so we claim that, and are able to claim kind of a lot of different home related expenses and things like that. And so kind of what we do is we basically the business expenses are kind of, and the business income is significantly higher than any W-2 income. And so yeah, we can prepay. I think if we did, it would be like I think it would be like 5,000 a quarter or something like that. But we decided we just take the penalty, don't really do anything with it until the end of the year. And so we end up having a pretty substantial tax bill in April. So 2 years ago it was 30,000. This year it was 20,000. We're getting a little bit better about the tax management thing. And so, yeah, we just kind of basically, so my first time, so I got let's see which one. It was the Blue Business Plus I got specifically to pay taxes with. And so that helped. And then I got the Business Platinum card. I got the sign up bonus in one day with that. And so because I got targeted for the 250,000 points for $20,000 in spend, hit that, did the spend on Friday, got the points on Monday. So that was really, really nice. DM, is there a convenience fee for paying taxes with a card? There is. Absolutely. I think it depends on which site you use, but it can be as high as 3.5%. But some of them, I think one of them did 2%. So pretty much like I would definitely only recommend doing that if you have a sign up bonus, right? Because you're not going to win on the multipliers, right? So if I use my Blue Business Plus and I'm just trying to make bank, like I'm still going to be, a 0.5% in the hole if I use that 2.5% distributor or, vendor. And so, yeah, no, so there is definitely a convenience fee for paying taxes with a card. So I would pretty much only do it if I had a substantial welcome offer that I was trying to hit, like that 250,000 point offer. But yeah, no, great point. All right. Okay. WQD, no, I forgot what he said. But anyway. Sam H. The other day I was at a nail salon with my wife and I had a lady next to my wife pulled out the Amex Plat. I was bragging that it's a Plat. Awesome. Little that she knew that the lady next to her just smiled, and 5 minutes later she pulled out the JP Morgan Reserve, and the one with the Amex Plat didn't know what it was. She said, "It's just a Chase card." I knew what that card was like. Wow. That is amazing. That is a baller move. That card, like, it would be amazing to have that card. And the thing I love about that card is it feels like it's more prestigious than the Centurion card because it's based on more on wealth, right? You have to have a certain amount of wealth with JP Morgan Chase, right, in order to get that card. So I feel like that actually says more about who you are as a person in a positive sense than the Centurion Club or Centurion card could. Because the Centurion card, all it tells me is that you probably spent a couple $100,000 a year, which either for your business or for yourself, and you're also willing to spend $20,000, to set up a black card, right? But yeah, no, the J.P. Morgan Reserve I think would be a little bit more of a wow, holy crap, because I actually haven't seen one in the wild. I've seen a couple of Centurion cards. All right. I heard you can reduce the credit limit of a credit and add it to a different one. Chase, is that true? If it is, how can I do that? Yeah, so actually Chase just recently overhauled how they did it. So when I did it, so I actually had to move my credit limit from my Amazon Prime card because for some reason it has a wild $25,000 credit limit. And I had to move it to my Boundless card because I only had 9,000. I had to get at least a 10,000. So I moved 5,000 to that one. So I had to call up, say, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. I need to move $5,000 on my credit limit from this card ending in blah, and then to this card ending in blah, and a couple of just confirmations over the phone. That was probably about 5 minutes. And so, that wasn't terrible. Now, the only thing, now the new thing though, is you can actually move your credit limits with Chase via the app, right? So there's actually a button you can push in the app that lets you change over your credit limits. The only thing I would say, Super Sal, if you are doing that, if you're monitoring your credit through Credit Karma will absolutely freak out on you. They will see that your credit limit was downgraded, and they will make you feel like you have the worst credit history in the history of man. And luckily, you can fix that by signing up for a Credit One card today, right? So if you're monitoring your credit with Credit Karma, they're going to make you feel bad about moving your credit limit because it's going to hit first that you had a credit limit reduction, and then it's going to come through that you got a credit limit increase. And so people can see that, but Credit Karma is going to freak out about it, and you shouldn't though. It's going to be okay. Boxer. Okay, Thai, done. Of course, going on the gold card, chicken satay and pad Thai. Stressful week and Boxer is a stress eater. Diet picks up again Monday. Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I agree. We have a really great Thai place so I live a little outside of Orlando in a place called Winter Garden. And so Winter Garden has a nice little kind of downtown area. It's very kind of like it used to be an Orange Grove hub. And so there was like a train that came straight down the center of downtown, and like all these really old buildings. There's it's called not the Flagler. It's called the Edgewater Hotel. It's really, really old. And it's just a really cute little area. And anyway, there's a Thai place called Thai Blossom, and it's one of the best Thai places I've ever had in my life. And I might actually have to go there for dinner now. So thank you, Boxer. I'm going to be stress eating with you a little bit later. And personal gold is what I'm talking about. It works better for me with the credits than business. Yeah, no, I agree with that. The business card. So I think someone else brought this up. The problem with the business card is that its main credit is Walmart Plus. Which, if you have the personal platinum card, it's not, you don't gain anything by having 2 Walmart Plus subscriptions, right? And so that's not really a benefit. Now, the business credit is nice. I use it for because it's $20 a month in Grubhub or in certain business kind of places, right? So if you go to Staples or if you go to Office Depot and you spend something there, which they sell gift cards, hint, hint. You get that credit, right? And so that can be helpful. I just use it for Grubhub because Grubhub is one of the places on there. So the personal gold card is easier to get value from though. You're definitely right there. DEM, yes, Phil, high protein vegan meals. That's awesome. So I'm curious. So I think protein, when we're talking about that with vegan meals, we're talking about mainly like beans or tofu, right? What else kind of protein is there? Forgive me if I'm being ignorant. All right, you gain a second free Whopper every quarter. Oh yeah, so thank you, TM Cowling 23, keeping me in the loop here. Yeah, I have not used as Burger King benefits with my Walmart Plus subscription. I do every once in a while use my Walmart Plus, the 10 cents off per gallon at certain, I think it's Exxon stations, but I don't use it that often because you do get 10 cents off per gallon with Exxon stations. They tend to be a little bit more expensive in my area than other gas stations. So it's not quite 10 cents off based on what I do pay, right? It's just based off of what I theoretically would pay if I only shopped at Exxon stations. Boxer said, I'm on the road, so I do food delivery often. I never use Grubhub, and I wish that the personal card had Walmart Plus. I'd move away from Amazon a bit. Yeah, uh, I agree. We kind of transitioned to, so we had a lot of reoccurring Amazon orders, right? So we had toilet paper on a recurring order, paper towels, like dish soap, the whole nine yards, right? But all I do is and Walmart's great because Walmart app, it keeps a tally of your past purchases, and so all you have to do is go through that and say, okay, I need this, and this. It's so easy. And so my wife, like, I'm actually logged into the Walmart app on my wife's phone, and so she can just add something to the shopping list, and then every weekend, so on Saturday we just make the order. It arrives Sunday, and then we're ready for the rest of the week. And it's so it's so easy. I love how stress free it is. The only thing I hate about Walmart Plus, I'm gonna rag on them a little bit because I complained every single time, and finally it changed. I used to have someone who I would get chicken tenderloins and blueberries, and they would always put them in the same bag. And the problem with Walmart chicken is it's kind of leaky, and so I basically have unusable blueberries for months at a time. So eventually, finally, they started tying off the blueberries and tying off the chicken in separate bags. And so I'm gonna be, I guess I'm neurotic, but I don't like to eat raw chicken with my blueberries. All right, Super Sal, I'm going to do the same, move the Amazon credit limit to my boundless card. Yeah, it's very easy to do. It's very easy to do. So that's good to know. TM Cowling 23, the ABG credit works on the Staples website for gifts cards as well. Oh, I didn't know it worked for the website. Okay, that's good to know because I was listening to, I think Uncle Luke did a video about the business gold card, and he was talking about like buying coffee for his workplace or something. But yeah, no, I had no idea the website worked. So thank you so much. I'll have to give that a shot and confirm that because that actually could make a difference in being able to use this. So thanks again for that hint. Well, we are getting up to about 2 hours, and I don't want to wear out my welcome, so I'm not going to go too much more than that. If you do have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to drop them in the chat below. While you guys are doing that, I'm just going to. Oh yeah, okay. Ryan H. So, any update on your adoption? Great content. Thanks so much for asking. I appreciate you, Ryan H. So adoption is going through. So basically, when I did the live stream, I guess that was last week, we were officially matched, which means the birth mom selected us. So we had to get a home study, and then we actually had to make a profile and a little video, and then we also made a website. And basically, we submitted for this one birth mom who actually lives in Florida, so it's not terribly far away, which is nice. But she apparently picked us out of 86 other families, and so we're very, very grateful for all that. It's really awesome. And so, basically pretty much, she's due January, December, January, sometime in there. So right now we're just pretty much just, letting birth mom do her thing, kind of, she's getting access to care and everything. So that's really nice. And, we're just kind of preparing. And so this is actually going to be the nursery. So I'm going to have to find a new place to record sometime because I'm being evicted and I'm really happy about it. So thanks so much for asking about that. I really appreciate you, Ryan. Boxer, being a do all food, it's what I do, fresh produce and all refrigerated / frozen food. The best place to get food from is Costco. They had a buyer that buys all produce fresh and all meat is theirs. Oh, okay. That's actually really good to know. Because that's the one thing that I'm always kind of cautious about with Walmart, right? So buying the produce is kind of hit or miss. Like blackberries, they're either perfect or half of them are rotten, right? Visibly rotten from the outside of the package. So it's good to know that Costco is there. So we might actually become Costco people moving forward, just because it's the easiest way to save on that kind of trip. And if that changes, I may not put as much spending on the platinum or the gold card, right? Because Costco you can't use it there, first of all, because it's an Amex card. But yeah, that's a great solid point. Pretty much everywhere else, even Whole Foods, all comes from the same place, organic or not, same places. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Don't overpay for your stuff. Boxer says, congrats on the adoption. Many well wishes for many years to come. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all you guys. Sam H, congrats on the adoption too. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Being a dad is amazing. TM Cowling 23, I'm excited for you. Yeah, I am really excited as well. It's been it's been kind of a rough road, and we're grateful to be in this position, and we're so grateful that we're even in a position to be able to put the funds towards this sort of thing, because a couple years ago that would not have been the case for us. So that's really good. Ryan H did bring up the interesting point that Costco produce always rots quickly, so that's kind of a big deal too. Yeah, you don't want to do that. And in fact, actually, that's one of the things I love about Aldi. Yeah, Aldi. So Aldi produce and Aldi meats, for some reason, always tend to last at least a week. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're doing to it. But if you're looking to make sure your chicken is still going to be there when you finally remember it's in the fridge a week later, it's going to be okay to use. Now, I don't know what that means and how many hormones and crap they're putting in it, but it lasts, right? Sam H, can you adopt me too? My wife disowned me because men are not always listening to their wives. Yeah, I think what it is we just are just on a completely different plane. We're just not capable of understanding them at that capacity. So, but yeah, no, I've definitely been accused of that too. So, but yeah, you can come live with me if you want, Sam H. Boxer at Ryan H, because it's the most real produce. They're not sprayed or anything. When I get produce from them, they have a buyer that handpicks what their standards are. Yeah, that is true. When you get like farm fresh stuff, it goes bad quick, and that's usually because it doesn't have stuff all over it. Boxer says, "Trust me, you'll never eat anything from Aldi if you went to their DC." I'm sure. I am sure. We've kind of gone away from Aldi a little bit, but it's easy to save money with that. I will say that. Vincent saying, "Congratulations on the adoption. Thank you so much." So yeah, we just kind of preparing for everything. December, January, birth mom has 2 days in the state of Florida to decide not to do it if she wants, but here's hoping that doesn't happen. So, but anyway, it'll happen. Whatever should happen will happen. So, but thanks again, everyone. Thank you, Vincent, Pasquale, and then also thank you to Anthony again for your super chat. And I'm not sure if I will cancel the gold, but it's a good sentiment. Yeah, Boxer says we have Publix. They're clean and decent quality too. Yeah, they are clean. They're just expensive, right? And so that's you got to weigh, right? So is it worth it to pay this much more money for something that might not kill me, or should I live that long anyway, right? That's a valid question, right? So Ryan H, I like Aldi because I always seem to get Chase offers for there. Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but I haven't really been paying attention to my Chase offers recently. I've just been kind of paying attention to the Amex ones, but maybe I should. That's a really solid point. Yeah, those offers can make a big deal. One thing I do like about the Citi offers is they are very kind of locally business oriented. So like there's a Mexican restaurant down the street, and every quarter there's a new, I think it's 5 to up to 10% off coupon by using a Citi card there. And so I love that they do local small businesses, which is actually really nice. It seems like Citi's kind of the bigger one that does that. Amex doesn't really ever do that. Chase sometimes will do local business, but it seems like it's more so Citi. But again, thank you so much for everybody for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you. I am going to go ahead and call it a day because, well, I got some more videos to record. So thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. You are awesome. And I'll see you next week. Bye.